Hello and welcome to the lecture on graphing. It's the first one. So in this lecture, we'll take a look at the Cartesian coordinate system. Now, it's a big word, but don't get thrown by the word. We'll take a look at this and go from there. So you have a grid in front of you. Now, many of you have seen this, but imagine you haven't, and listen to this conversation. So imagine I wanted to pinpoint my location exactly. And imagine that these vertical lines were avenues. Hmm? These lines right this were like avenues. And imagine these lines were streets. Okay? And so I could say, for example, if I'm standing right there, that location would be at the I'm standing at the junction of 9th Avenue and 7th Street. Okay, so we can pick another one. For example, let's say I was sitting right there. And so this time I would be at the junction of 4th Avenue and 3rd Street. Now, we could perhaps shorten this if you all understand that the avenue goes first and the street comes second. Think alphabetical, right? If you all understood that, I wouldn't have to say 4th Avenue, 3rd Street. I might just be able to shorten that and say 4, 3. Because we all understand 4 means 4th Avenue, 3 means 3rd Street. Or I can shorten this right there and say 9, 7, 9th Avenue, 7th Street. Now, since this is math, we don't call these avenues and streets. Instead, we call the avenue X and the street Y, right? So these are called the x-axis. This is called the x-axis, and this is called the y-axis. And we all understand the first number is the avenue, quote unquote, or x is always going to be the first number, and y is always going to be the second number. So for example, let's say I say that I'm at the junction of -3 and -2. Well, that would put me -3, -2, 3 -3 on the x, 2 on the -2 on the y, so it would be right there. Now we always start off from here relative to that location right there, and that location right there is also a grid point 0, 0, x 0, y 0. So we always start from there. So let's do a few examples. Let's see, we'll plot the points 4, 4, -2, -7, -5, 3, and 4, -6. All right, let's plot these points. Let's call these A, B, C, and D. Okay, so 4, 4. So again, always start at the origin. Or first number always is the x number, so you go 4 this way and 4 up that way. So there is my junction. That's where I am. So that's A. B would be -2, -7. Well, let's see. Start from the 0, 0, -2, -7. So that's a long ways down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is B. C would be -5, 3. Let's see. So start again from the origin. -5, 3. Right there. That's C. And 4, -6. So let's see. 4 all the way to 4 and -6. So this time we go down to here, B, C, and D. So that's how you plot points. Now you can sort of see how the X and the Y lines divide the space up into 4 different parts. These parts are called quadrants, and this one here with both positive X and positive Y, this area here is called quadrant 1, and then this one is called quadrant 2, and then this is called quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay, so it is a little strange. It's numbered in this order, right? Quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to use this to do some graphing. What we're going to graph are what are called linear equations. Linear equations. Okay, and so what is a linear equation? So let me write the definition down. A linear equation in 2 variables is an equation that can be put in the form ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are real numbers. So that's a lot of talking. Let me give you an example of that. It's very simple actually. So a linear equation looks like this. For example, 4x minus 3y equals to 12. Right? That's a linear equation. Another example of this, so this would be a, sorry, before I go on here, so this is like a, and this is like b, and this is like c. Right? So a is 4, b is 3, c is 12. So another linear equation would be y equals 5x plus 3. Now things are written differently this time, but still for all it's still a linear equation. Written like this with the x and the y, x and y equals to number in this sort of format. This is called standard form. Written like this with the y on this side and the x and number part on the right side, this is called slope-intercept form. Now you may not understand what that means, but that's okay. We'll talk about it later, but I'm just kind of telling you it has a special name, intercept form. Okay, so linear equations. Another example of linear equation might be y equals to x plus 1. Right? That's a linear equation, another one. Alright, so in the next video what we'll do is we'll explore what the graphs of these look like and how we could come up with the graphs.